Hey everyone, today we are going to look at Xuan. Now she is the newest released premium unit, and of course one I've been talking about for a very long time, because with her comes the best team in the game, that one being the Mono Quantum team. Now I'm going to be doing separate videos on the Mono Quantum team altogether, and I'm doing a showcase for her today. Now in case you're not familiar with my showcases, I like to go over all their kit information, ways to build them, how I recommend building them, yada yada yada, and then I have to throw them into some content doing multiple different teams. Today we will not be looking at any of the Mono Quantum teams. I want to look at how good she is just by herself, right? Like, how good is she? And teams are obviously, she's not the best team in the game, right? So we're gonna be looking, we're not gonna be looking at any Mono Quantum teams in this video, but we will be in future videos. So if that's something you're interested in, you can always subscribe. All right, now let's look at Xuan here and start with her character details. Now she is of the Path of Preservation, which means she is pretty much a tank. They have defensive abilities to protect allies. They have shields. They usually have taunts or different types of aggro, some sort of self-healing, some sort of damage reduction of some sort. So she is of the Preservation Path, and her combat type is Quantum. Now, like I said, we have Mono Quantum in the game now. We have enough characters to raid a full Quantum team, and not only to be a full Quantum team, but actually be incredibly balanced. With her being on Preservation, and we have Lynx as a healer, then we have Silverwolf as a debuffer, and the one that actually allows the entire team to work, and we have other sort of damage sources you could do, which is Zila, which you'll probably want like 80% of the time, and then the Jade Tile later, I always forget how to pronounce her name, who is good for like 20% of the time if you don't have Zila, or of course she's also good against those multi enemies, which could be useful. I'm not going to say it's not useful. She's not a complete zero anymore, that's for sure. So Quantum is obviously very good, and it's very important right now, what we're looking at. So let's go over her abilities. We'll start with her technique. This is what I usually like to start with. So a Fortune Comes Fate, which is a defensive technique. After the technique is used, all team members receive a barrier lasting for 20 seconds. This barrier can block all enemy attacks, and the team will not enter battle when attacked. Entering battle while the barrier is active will have Xuan automatically activate Matrix of Presence at the start of the battle, lasting for 2 turns. Very, very, very cool, very useful. All right, when we look at the talent is a Restore. While Xuan is still active in battle, Misfortune Avoidance is applied to the entire team. With Misfortune Avoidance, allies take 11.6% less damage. I believe that is a scaling percent, so a scaling percent less damage. When Xuan's current HP falls to 50% of her max HP or less, HP Restore will be triggered for Xuan, restoring her HP by a percent of the amount of HP she is currently missing. This effect cannot be triggered if she receives a killing blow. This effect possesses 1 trigger count by default and can have a maximum of 2 trigger counts. So this is basically, first part is all of your allies take less damage, and the second part is basically a safety net heal for herself that she can activate when she falls low in health. So that is very, very, very good. Her basic attack is Nova Burst, which deals quantum damage equal to a percent of Xuan's max HP to an enemy. And then, of course, her skill, which is really good, which is Known by Stars, Shown by Hearts. I would like to say one thing about the attack burst, or her basic attack. It's obviously a single target. It does a scaling percent, however, of her max HP, which is very unique. There are other healers that have, or healers or other characters that use stuff off of max HP. One thing that comes to mind is Bailu. Now, all her scalings are pretty much max HP, but her basic attack actually scales off of attack. And then, of course, we have a Lynx here who, not here, but we have Lynx also, who's another max HP scaling character. And her basic attack goes off of max HP scaling, and so does Xuan. So it's very unique. I really like that they're adding some of that stuff to there, because obviously Bailu's attack is just incredibly weak, because you're not going to up her attack at all. You want to up her max HP, which is what all the scaling's off of. Luckily, though, they can actually do a little bit of damage with their max HP stat, which is nice. You might notice that they have significantly lower percentage, and that's just because it is a lot easier to raise that max HP stat than it is the attack stat. There's a lot of useful things, and of course, I mean, her max HP is already over 8,000 that I have on her, so obviously it's good. That would scale a little too high if it was a similar scalings that the attack's gonna have for basic attacks. Now let's go over her skill. Known by Stars, Shown by Hearts as a defensive skill that costs 1 skill point. It activates Matrix of Presence, via which other team members will distribute 65% of the damage they receive before this damage is mitigated by any shields to Xuan for 3 turns. So basically, she'll take some hits for the allies in a way. And if an ally gets hit for an attack that deals 100 damage, they will only take 35 35 damage, and Fu Xuan will take the other 65. So very useful, very cool. It's just a way to think like that, like she's taking the hits almost, mostly. And then the second part is well affected by Matrix of Presence. All team members gain the Knowledge effect, which increases their respective max HP by a scaling percentage of Fu Xuan's max HP and increases crit rate by a scaling percentage. When Fu Xuan is knocked down, the Matrix of Presence will be dispelled. And lastly, her ultimate, which is Woes of Many morphed to 1, which is an AoE. It has an energy cost of 135, which is very unique. I don't know if we've had an energy cost that ends in a 5 before, not in a 0. So that's very interesting. It's also quite high. But it deals quantum damage equal to a scaling percentage of Fu Xuan's max HP to all enemies and obtains 1 trigger count for the HP restore effect granted by Fu Xuan's talent. So that's obviously useful for more of that extra recovery. One thing that's going to mention is that is a very, very small percentage. She's not going to be dealing a lot of damage with her ultimate. Obviously, this is level 3. I'll go over the traces and how I like to level them for the showcases in a second. Obviously, this is a just initial showcase, not a maxed out one. Be very clear when it is a maxed out showcase. Now for Light Cone, she obviously has her own Light Cone, which is actually really, really good, and I really recommend you get that one for her. It is pretty much essential, and these are, these quantum characters, the kind that you want to put your resources in because you will get some of the max gain out of putting your resources in them. But if you don't have them, I would say one of the best ones is Landau's Choice, which is definitely one you could get free to play, but it's a 4-star Light Cone. It gives the wearer is more likely to be attacked, and damage taken is reduced by 20%, so it's just a little bit extra damage reduction, which is obviously very, very important, and of course being more likely to hit is also very, very important for this character. Some ones that I've seen that you could use, you don't want any of these defense increase ones. These are not ones you should be interested in, which is a lot of them. Right, so defense. She doesn't really need defense as a thing. This one I've seen people do texture memories. I'm not a super big fan of this one, but I could see it working. I could see this one being okay as well. I would say if I had to give, other than her primary Light Cone, which is the best one for her, I would say Landau's Choice is the best one. Second best one is probably We Are Wildfire. And I guess I don't know about any of the 3 stars, but Texture Memories is a free-to-play one, and it's not that bad. So I'd say probably in that order you want that. But what you're looking for is getting her max HP, which a lot of preservation ones actually don't. Very surprisingly, a lot of them prioritize defense, which does make sense because most of the characters that come out initially, they all like generate shields in some kind, and what do you know, they're all based around defense. March 7th based around defense or defensive stat. The Trailblazer based on defense. Jeopard based off of defense. So obviously that's why that's that way. All right, traces. So we're gonna go over the primary traces here, and as far as for the initial showcase, I like to have their things up to at least 3 just to give that initial look at. So the first one is the bonus ability, Dunjia the Metamystic. Oh boy. When Fu Xuan's ultimate is used, heals all other allies by an amount equal to 5% of Fu Xuan's max HP plus 133, 7% plus a little flat rate. Really nice, really good, just a little extra something. Obviously, that's how most of these things are, just a little extra something. And Taya the Macrocosmic. When Matrix of Presence is activated, Fu Xuan will generate 20 extra energy when she uses her skill. Very nice. Obviously, the extra energy is nice because she does have a pretty expensive ultimate, and it is very useful to use, especially when you got the extra healing in there as well. All right, and the last one, Liurin the Sexagenary. Ooh. If a target enemy applies crowd control debuffs to allies while the Matrix of Presence is active, all allies will resist all crowd control debuffs applied by the enemy target during the current action. This effect can only be triggered once. When Matrix of Presence is activated again, the number of times this effect can be triggered will reset. So basically, every single time you use her skill, all your allies are immune to the very first thing of CC to them, which is super cool, and then just reactivates when you use it again. Big paragraph for something to be summed up like that, which is nice. All right. Now we go to relics. This is what I'm doing. I would say that I overall recommend this one. The other way you could go is to actually max out probably these ones. Let me just make sure I remember what their 4 is. Yeah, it's okay. So I have the Fleet of the Ageless and the Guard of Wuthering Snow on half pieces. A lot of these characters are actually ended up needing like half pieces, like half sets, which is really interesting, which is really cool. I really like that. It just varies build paths and stuff like that. As you can see here, I haven't leveled up all of my relics, but I leveled up the important ones, which are the ones that actually have the primary stat, which we'll go over in just a second. But yeah, so I have the Flee of the Ageless, which increases the wearer's max HP by 12%, and when the wearer's speed reaches 120 or higher, all its attack increases by 8%. We'll see if that happens. That's not really that important, and that's actually the planar set. I meant to say Guard of Wuthering Snow and Longevous Disciple were the main ones. And Longevous Disciple just increases max HP by 12%, and the 2-piece for Guard of Wuthering Snow, which is a damage taken by 8%. So extra damage reduction, extra max HP, which is her most important stat. It's max HP. If you remember, when we were looking at it, literally the only stat that was in any of the things was max HP. So that is obviously the stat you want to prioritize. And damage reduction, because she already had a little bit built in. We got some from her light cone, and of course we're getting from this, so she has generally a lot of damage reduction, which is more important for a character that has like no defense. You don't really want to prioritize defense in her because there's no scaling off it. You might think it because she's going to be taking hits. Yeah, but rather than prioritize defense, I just prioritize being able to get damage reduction, because we have her own innate damage reduction plus 8 plus the 20 from Landau's. Yeah, so yeah, very, very good, very, very good. As far as the primary stat, like I said, on all of these, HP. I would recommend taking one of those, probably not HP, and doing speed, because speed is a very, very important stat. I just didn't get lucky enough to get any of these 4 with speed, but I definitely recommend getting some speed in there. Speed is just a very good stat. As far as the other ones, obviously don't super matter. Just make sure you've got HP percentage in the sub for sure. All right. Her dupe system, number 1 is Dominus Passus. The knowledge effect increases crit damage by 30%. Very nice. So every one of your allies get the knowledge effect when you activate her skill. So increasing crit damage by 30% is obviously very useful for any of the damage dealers you have, which will probably be 1 if you're running the Quantum team, which is obviously your most recommended team, but clearly you want to run her on other stuff too. She's good enough to be run on other stuff. All right. Optimus Felix is the second one. If any team member is struck by a killing blow while Matrix of Presence is active, when all allies who were struck by a killing blow during this action will not be knocked down, and 70% of the max HP is immediately restored. This effect can trigger 1 time per battle. This is super, super useful and uniquely worded. So if you have your skill open and someone gets killed, they come back with 70% of their health. Very cool. But what's interesting is the point that anyone who is struck by a killing blow in that single action will all be. So if you have there's some enemies with really powerful AoE. Something that comes to mind is the Simulated Universe, the stupid deer, the Arbor one, who has its vines. It has a really strong AoE attack that could really knock you out. Some of the new stuff in the Swarm event, Swarm Disaster, also has some pretty good AoEs that could really knock you out. So if you get 2 characters, 2, 3 characters, 4 characters knocked down by an insane AoE, well, you have her thing up, they will all come back to life with 7% HP, which is super duper cool. 3 is Apex Nexus, which is a level up one. 4 is Fortuna Stellaris, which is when other allies under Matrix of Presence are attacked, Fu Xuan regenerates 5 energy. Very useful. She's also getting attacked as well anyways. So she'll take some of the damage as well, so that's good. You do want other people to get hit. It's not a bad idea. 5, Arbiter Primus is a level up one. And 6, Omnia Vita. Once a Matrix of Presence is activated, it will keep a tally of the total HP lost by all team members in the current battle. Fu Xuan's ultimate damage will increase by 200% of this tally of HP loss. This tally is also kept at 150% of Fu Xuan's max HP, and the tally value reset and reaccumulate after Fu Xuan's ultimate is used. This is similar to Blade's ultimate, which will tally the amount of health he's lost, and then add that to the will be the main driving force behind the power of his attack, his ultimate attack, which can do a lot of damage. So this final one really will add a lot of damage to her ultimate, and it's basically the same as Blade, except it's tracking the health that everyone else loses. So it's pretty cool. I think it's nice. It's very just similar to Blade's. It's just adding that Blade extra stuff to her ultimate, which honestly is kind of needed because her ultimate is pretty bare bones, and I'd say the most disappointing thing about her is her ultimate move, especially since it looks so cool. It's a little disappointing to have that locked behind the 6th dupe, because it's like, if you're a free-to-play player, even if you're a dolphin, you're not spending a whole lot of money, but you're spending some, you're just getting that is not going to be super great. And so having her ultimate do a lot of damage isn't going to be something, which is one of the biggest problems I think is with this Quantum team overall. Sorry, just a quick rant. It's that damage I think is going to be a little low if you don't have dupes, because Silverwolf doesn't really deal a lot of damage unless you have the dupes in her to allow her ultimate to get the extra damage off of the enemy having debuffs. Lynx will deal like negative damage, so that doesn't matter. Of course, you have Zila, who's an insane damage dealer, will be even better with all the enemies being able to be weak to her. And Jade Tile Lady, she's better right now because she has a whole, like a team. She has a purpose right now, which I'd argue she didn't really before. But she'll do decent damage. She was able to do decent damage before, sort of, so she'll be able to do decent damage now. But really, it's only coming from your carries unless you have dupes, up to level 6 dupes on Xuan, and then even on her. Which one is it? Is it brute force attack? No, is it her last one? Yes, for every debuff the target enemy has, the damage dealt by Civil increases by 20% up to a limit of 100%. Like, you need that. And 4. Wait, is 4 the one? I think I was thinking of yeah, I was thinking of 6, which is a huge damage increase to her in general, not just her ultimate. Do I have all relics on her? I don't have leveled up. Ooh, I gotta get to that. Anyways, we're gonna look at the teams we're gonna be running this one. So 4, which is the one we're gonna be focusing on. How high can we get Xuan's stats and see how good she is? It's not a real team. It's literally meant to just be like, let's look at numbers. So we got this one here. 5 is how well do they do on a real team? How much do they actually contribute to what's going on? So this is the real team we got here, and we'll see how she does in this one. And 6 is the quote-unquote free-to-play / budget team, which is Xuan the only 5-star you have? Well, let's look at a team only made up of 4 stars and other free-to-play characters and see how well she does. All right, I will be seeing you in this one in just 1 second. I'll be right back. All right, for this first one, we're going to be running the Memory of the Xianzhou Stage 2 because it starts with a decent enemy who is, of course, weak to Quantum. So this is what we're going to be looking at here. So her main thing is a defensive, whatever. It doesn't really matter. The enemy's not going to attack us. We don't really need to worry about that. I'm going to grab this support, and then, of course, we're just going to attack with Silverwolf here. So like I said, this is to look at some numbers. Let's see what she does for this team when we got, obviously, things just cater towards her. Let's just look at some of her regular damage, even when it's buffed up. So yeah, damage boost. Let's see what she could do. This enemy won't be weak to her. We'll attack this one that still has his resistances up. So yeah, not a lot of damage. I don't expect it to be a lot. This is at level 3 of the trace stuff, right? It's a relatively low level. The main point is to see, like, averages. Let's just compare it to her 939. So it's not too bad. Obviously, that's not the same. They're weak to it, right? So okay, all right, that's not too bad. Next thing, what I really want to do is build up and see what they can do for. Let's look at her skill quick. Let's do her defensive skill. I want to look at how much damage her ultimate can do. Let's just get Silverwolf built up just super quick. Built up so she could use her ultimate and her skill. So we'll end on Silverwolf here. See what Silverwolf can do. All right. Boom. Explodes. All right. We could do it on this guy. Let's do this. Actually, we're going to have to wait until the main. We're just going to do too much damage. We're going to have to see how much damage she does against this main one. Obviously, believe it or not, I'm taking 6. So we did get the crit. 4K crit, which isn't bad. All right. Explodes. So look at this one. There's 2 of them here. Let's. This is good enough. We will use the ultimates here. All these ultimates that can do something. That are, buffing or whatever. And then we'll use the skill to bring, what's her name? We'll use the skill to bring Xuan up. Okay, we want to attack. We'll bring her here. So she got the damage increase. We got the defense lowered. We got all this lowered. So we're going to use the ultimate and see how much damage we could do with the ultimate. I don't expect a lot. Don't expect a lot of damage, but I am curious. All right, so I did 12k, but it was roughly 6-ish k. Due to the enemies, the enemy is weak to damage isn't great. Obviously, we knew that. We're not using attack buffing. Obviously, we're using general damage buffing, which is important to understand. We're using debuffing, debuff the defense, which obviously matters for the damage we're doing. Damage is definitely not her strong suit, right? Even though she's got scalings off of HP percentages, and even though her HP is high, it's not a whole lot. Okay, that's fine though. Her main role isn't damage. However, I'm very curious to see how well she can allow us to tank here. So these guys can do a lot of damage, and they have the imprisoning stuff. So we are going to we're just going to wait. We're just not going to attack. This is a very squishy team. I just want to see, you know, how damage looks, right? Is she still taking the hits for them even under this entanglement? She's not taking damage when she's entangled. Okay. So when she's debuffed like this, she is not taking damage. She's not taking that extra damage for her allies. Let's see if we could get her up quick. Buff dispelled. Okay, good. So that's something interesting to realize, is that she's not... I don't know how good that is. See, Pella died probably literally because of that. You know, if enemies have these debuffs that, you know, entangle or whatever, and she doesn't take those hits, I can't say that that's great. And it's hard to tell with this. Silverwolf's dead. Okay. I mean, her thing's up, right? That's what that is right there in the bottom left, right? Yeah. That could be a really bad look for her here. We're going to keep doing this, see how long Bronny could last. But seeing how much damage her allies are taking, and if being entangled like that means that she is not getting, you know, reducing the damage that she's dealing, that's definitely not great. It's definitely not great. Alright, let's keep looking. I mean, I'd like to last until, like, the timer goes down. We'll see how that happens. We'll see how it goes when she's alone. Okay, yeah, see, so she has a... So that is her thing right there. Interesting, okay. When she gets hit, though, she is taking incredibly little damage. I will say that. The damage reduction that she has, plus just how high her max HP is, plus extra damage, like, she is taking no damage. I would like to remind you that this is a incredibly squishy team overall, right? Like, Pella has, like, nothing. Freaking Silverwolf has, like, nothing. Like, this is an incredibly squishy team. But she's not taking a lot of damage from stuff, which is very nice. However, her allies are. She's not really protecting them as much as I thought she would be, which is like not fantastic. We're gonna do this just to heal. See how much this heal is worth, though. Yeah, only 612. I can't say that she's a wall. She's not a wall protecting her team at an insane degree. With her not being able to give shields for that damage, you know, mitigation that she gives to not do that much, I can't say I'm super, you know, I can't say that I think she's unbelievable. Okay, we managed to beat it just through time. I'm going to run that one again. Maybe we'll look at it a little differently. I just realized maybe I was looking at the wrong thing when it came to her ultimate. 1 second. All right, we're back in it. Oh, I didn't hit him. All right, we're back in this one. Curious for her special. It didn't seem to load up quite the way I thought it did on the bottom left. Yeah. Okay, no, she has her barrier thing. So let's see here. So this does not reset those charges, which is what I thought was what controlled her matrix here. Now I'm wondering how long her matrix actually lasts, because it doesn't seem to last as long as I thought it did. And it doesn't seem to be by those charge things I see down there. So I'm curious when her matrix ends here. Because I thought it was much longer than what I thought it was, but apparently it wasn't. But you can see if it's active too. They do have like a glows. There's the glow on the field, which is really nice. We're not having a super great way. Okay, so I could see it going down right there. Does that mean it'll be down on her next turn? Because if so, then it does last as long as I thought it would. But I feel like it would just go leaving really fast. See? Yep. Okay, now it's down. Okay. Interesting. That seemed to be as long as I thought it was. It just didn't seem like it was doing that last time. Okay, let's bring her up. Let's use her thing again. Let's use these real quick. Obviously her ultimate didn't do a lot of damage, but I also don't think we got a crit though. But she has like the crit up, and we have the other thing up now. I think the other one's gonna sanction off of this, which would be incredibly annoying. It is. Okay. Hopefully it's not a big deal. We could always... they both sanction at the same time. That's so... that won't be the worst. Okay. Her thing is not up. We're gonna put this up, and then we're gonna use the ultimate, because this should increase some stuff, a higher chance to like crit. What a beautiful animation though. Okay, like 19k when you have all those other guys out here, which isn't super spectacular. Her damage is nothing spectacular. I mean, we did manage to just like kill overall just doing basic attacks and waiting to see how much damage everyone took. Okay, I'm not super disappointed by that one overall. This was just to check like how much damage she could do in perfect scenarios, and it's not a whole lot of damage, which she's not a damage dealer. It's fine. You know, she doesn't need to deal an insane amount of damage, so it's not a big deal. I was just curious, a little disappointed by it. The tanking, though, was good. Obviously, she was entangled, and that does seem to cancel out her ability to do stuff like that. So that is one way you can really get around the defenses and could find ways to really lose and just have gaps is by her getting debuffed like that. So you do need to be careful. All right, I've seen enough for this one. I will come back with the other team's voiceover later, so I'll see you there. All right, so first things first, on the last fight, I didn't realize that Xuan's skill was actually active when she got entangled. So I actually have no idea if when she's debuffed like that, she is not able to take the hits for the allies, that 65% damage she takes. And this doesn't, like, she doesn't get a debuff in this fight at all. In fact, this fight is a complete wipe. So I have no clue, but I'm doing a lot more videos with her. So we'll definitely be in a situation we could look at that again. Now, it's hard to tell how much exactly Xuan's actually able to do in this fight, I'm going to be honest, because Blade just kind of like destroys these enemies. But, you know, we don't take like any damage. We don't take any damage. How much that could be contributed to her, I'm not sure. But I do know that Bronya gets hit like at least once, twice, and she doesn't take a lot of damage. So there's that. Bronya is a squishy character, squishier, that's for sure. But I can definitely say that having Xuan on a fully built team like this, like a really next level team, by having Blade, because Blade just does plenty of damage, that it's fine. Bronya, you know, supports Blade to do insane damage as well, so that's fine. Locha keeps everyone healthy, and Xuan makes it so no one takes damage. And this team definitely deals, deals a lot of damage while not taking a lot of damage. You're invincible. You're just this huge wall, while being able to deal damage. What more could you ask for? I could say that, like, does Xuan do something super duper spectacular? Like, if I just had Jeopard in this same situation, does anything really change? And I can't say that anything really does change. So it's hard to say, like, is Xuan like a must summon? You know, you got to use her. You have to use her if you don't have like a full quantum team. And I'm going to say probably not. She's great. Yeah, she's good. But I don't think she's on like a totally next level when she isn't on that mono quantum team. Now, I was going to do another team fight. I usually have the budget one, but actually my phone was dying. I couldn't do that one. I didn't think it would have been a very good team to use anyways. I didn't think there was going to be any content that wasn't relatively annoying to actually record, so we didn't end up doing that one. But don't worry, a lot more Xuan videos are coming in the future, so if you like that, subscribe. Make sure you like the video, comment down below. All that, you know how it goes. But Xuan is very good overall. I am overall impressed with her. We're going to have to see her when we look at her on the Mono Quantum teams. I'm going to be doing a Lynx showcase relatively soon, and I will have one of her teams be the Mono Quantum team, so we'll be able to look at that sooner rather than later. Anyways, that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.